Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. It is exactly 6:30. We are at 335 Ream, and this is the Town of Moraga regular Town Council meeting. I see all the council members are here with the exception of David Shapiro, and Pledge of Allegiance. Renata, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Renata. Okay, we have two presentations today, and this is part of our 5 and 5. And first, we have Sally Whitaker with Friends of the Library. Welcome.
Thank you very much. There you go. So much. All right, well, and I did put a few things at your seats that you can look over.
Did you push a button?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's supposed to say mic.
Oh,
Is what Amy told me.
okay.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, good evening. I'm Sally Whitaker, and I'm a friend. Friends of the Moraga Library is an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the mission of service to as well as financial support of the Moraga Library, and to building partnerships between the library and our community. Year-round, we raise funds through membership dues, donations, and used book sales to provide our town's library with the best books, materials, educational, and cultural enrichment programs for all ages. And from time to time, we also are able to purchase new furnishings for our library, like last fall's refresh, spending more than $87,000. Our organization, whoops, I'm supposed to click this. No, that's there. Our organization is run by a working board of 10 directors, and overall we have a membership of about 350. But of this group, there are 75 real active members. These committed volunteers help the board run our popular book sales each spring and fall. I'm sure you've seen the bright orange signs around town before each book sale. And as our way of giving back to the community, we purposely price the sale books from 25 cents to $3 max. We are thankfully assisted with sales setup and takedown by Sam Sperry and his wonderful Moraga Kiwanis group, along with help from local scout troops 234 and Troop 212. And in case you've ever wondered what happens to the books left over from our semi-annual sales, I'm happy to report they are sent all over the world to people in need. South America, the Philippines, and just last week, I got word from Kiwanis that 108 boxes filled to the brim with our leftover books are now on their way to Kenya. And that really makes me smile. How many of you know that the Friends also operate a tiny but amazing bargain bookshop, which is located at the library and staffed by our volunteers? In fact, I was working my shift at the shop today and thought, what an unsung enterprise this really is. Surprisingly, most Moragans aren't aware of our shop and just forget to use it. We have a devoted crew of volunteers that sort book donations for the shop, as well as a good group of us that work our shifts year-round. With unbeatable prices, our Friends Bookshop is not only a local gem, but also offers a real service to this community. Don't drive out of Moraga, buy books locally. Yes, the Friends provide, on average, oops-a-daisy, no, bookshop. Above and beyond our value-packed selection of great books, Friends of the Moraga Library funds the library's daily programs, which totally enhance each event. Our monthly newsletter that I left at your seats goes out to all of our members and is filled with loads of engaging adult, teen, and children's programs, such as our book club, also the summer reading program, creative story times, the list goes on and on. Yes, the Friends provide, on average, $20,000 each year to cover the costs of these special events and pay for everything from books to arts and crafts supplies, musical performers to fun prizes, and felt storyboards to early literacy toys. The library manager presents her budget request to us, and our board does its very best to approve whatever is needed to benefit our Moraga patrons, both young and old. For the balance of 2024, the Friends will continue to underwrite a grand array of activities focusing on replicating the more successful past events, like the Friendship Bracelet Program for all of you Swifties, and the well-attended Chinese New Year celebration, and the super fun Mother's Day pots and painting. Like many of you, Friends of the Moraga Library wouldn't think of missing Moraga's 50th anniversary parade, and will also be funding the library's popular booth at the town's Pear and Wine Festival. Those are some photos from last year. What's more, the Moraga Library and the Friends will be hosting their own celebration in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the library's dedication in 1974. This is the original dedication program. Really cute. It was a very big deal back then, and this September it will be again, as everyone is invited to our milestone reception. The date is yet to be determined, so stay tuned. Last but certainly not least, I'm excited to share that the Friends have budgeted $40,000 for new furnishings in the young adult teen area for this coming fiscal year of 2024-2025, and another $40,000 is tentatively scheduled the following fiscal year in order to upgrade the library's computer tables and chairs. Oops. In 1974, the newly incorporated town of Moraga had more than 100 families who were founding members of the Friends of the Moraga Library. And today, as I mentioned earlier, we have about 350 households. Many, many thanks go to those that are already friends. We cannot thank you enough for your generous support, and we're looking to build on last fall's refresh. And with your tax-deductible memberships, these make a huge difference in revitalizing our beloved 50-year-old library. What? You're not a friend yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Please consider becoming a member and make it a priority to take full advantage of all of the fun your local Moraga Library has to offer. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Stay right there. Are there any questions for Sally? Carrie? Right now it's questions. Any questions? Okay, any comments? Carrie?
So you are a lifesaver. Let me just say that, because I just found out this week that I'm going to be the primary caregiver for my 3 kids. And I needed ideas for what to take them to do. This is incredibly useful, and I will admit that I am not yet a friend of the Moraga Library, but I will become one after tonight. So thank you so much for this presentation.
That's great, yes. I mean, and these get sent digitally to all of our members, and then there's also hard copies at the library. Cool. So for those people who aren't friends.
Also, I had the privilege of being at our last mayor's conference. I'll let the mayor give more of an update on that, but it was really exciting for the event in Pittsburgh that all of the mayors were getting an update on the great things going on in our library. So thank you for everything you've been supporting there, and thank you for giving me some ideas for what to do with the kiddos.
That's great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Renata?
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much. I am a proud card-carrying member of the Friends of the Moraga Library. I'm also a proud card-carrying member of the Swifty Society. So I am...
Hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. I'm sorry I missed the friendship bracelet making event. I would have taken full advantage. I just want to express our appreciation for all of the work the Friends have done. I mean, you were instrumental in creating that renovation and making that happen and updating our library to 2024 standards. So thank you for that, and thank you so much that you have slated additional significant capital investment in the library to make it even better. I mean, it is truly one of the epicenters in town for youth programs, youth activities. I have twins, and one of my best memories of their childhood was going to the library once a week, and they brought a Safeway shopping bag, and they could fill it up with books and then come back the next week and fill it up again. And it's just a wonderful resource for this community. So thanks for all that you all do, quietly, humbly, but very effectively.
Thank you so much. I'll relay that to my board because, as I mentioned, we are a small working board, and everybody works.
Steve.
So everybody contributes to those positives.
Sally, thank you so much. The Friends of the Library have certainly had a long-term, very positive impact to make our library so valuable to the community. And I echo what my associates say. And also, you know, I really want to commend, and maybe it's indirect, but the library, how it has adjusted to the changing technologies, going from really hardcover or paperback now to so much digital, and surviving that sort of challenge that digital posed. So that's also to be, I'm sure, also a positive reflection on the Friends. Thank you.
And I've got a secret. I have gone I think it was last week, to the store area. And I've gone to the store many times, but this time I went for my granddaughter. And luckily I brought a canvas bag. So I had a big heavy-duty bag, and I filled it with $1.50 books and then two $3.50 books and $3.50 books. And that's such a wonderful little gift. And I don't know that people know about that.
We try to get the word out, but any help you can give us, and you want to hit that shop often.
Right,
it's
right.
kind of like TJ Maxx. You go in and, didn't find anything. But the same thing, because we constantly feed new things and things sell and whatnot. So,
and these books are classics. You know, there's Madeline and all of the books that open up and have all of these things coming out, dinosaurs and all kinds of things. I can't wait to go and give them to my granddaughter, and everybody else can do that as well. So thank you for all that you guys do.
It's a
gift.
All right. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Okay, next we have another presentation tonight. We have Moraga Chamber of Commerce. So Hannah, come on up.
Hello. Questions already? It's just this guy?
Yeah, I can do it here.
I'll, with my own cadence. Perfect. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Hi, my name is Hannah Mattiota with the Moraga Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and I'm here to present our 5 and 5 presentation. Okay. Our purpose is to facilitate and promote a sound business environment in which we support businesses, to support communities, to support the town. Okay, our organization consists of a board of directors, which is at 5 volunteer board members currently, all of which, or most of them, represent local businesses in a wide variety of industries. Our executive director is part-time and mostly volunteer right now. The structure of the organization is a nonprofit, and we are financed entirely by our membership dues. The infrastructure, we do have a office space that is donated, and our CRM system is comprised of a community calendar, job board, promotional pages such as social media, a news page, directory, and newsletter. We also have a phone number and email, all of which you can find at www.moragachamber.org. And we always appreciate any follows on social media to help spread the word of any events we're doing in the future, and so you know what events are coming up so you can attend them. What we do. Our events that are business building events are mixers, ribbon cuttings, and chamber talks. The goal of all of these is to facilitate relationships between the organizations, to gain publicity for businesses, and to provide high-level info sessions that can benefit the businesses in Moraga. Our community building events include Bunnies and Brews, Hacienda Nights, Art Walk, Community Service Day, and Turkey Trot. And the goal is to bring community to businesses. To support and resources that we provide businesses include staying current on laws and changes in how they affect businesses, provide marketing support. That might be in the form of some kind of chamber talk where someone can volunteer to share their expertise, share potential news opportunities with local media, work with the town, and advocate for businesses. And our networking is a lot to do with talking to local chambers and community representatives. What events we currently participate and host is ribbon cuttings, which we just did a ribbon cutting for Lord's 12th birthday. For Sunday Swing is a new golf shop in the Safeway Center, and they had their grand opening that we did a ribbon cutting for, as well as Higher Ground, which is a wellness center. We also do mixers for members and beyond, just to have everyone meet and share their expertise, and who knows who you're going to meet. And we'll also have chamber talks. Our most recent ones were Wine, and Taxes, a small business tax talk by a CPA firm. We also did a Marketing in the Digital Age workshop with one of our own board members, as well as a past board member, Mark Hoogs, did a State of Insurance in California. So lots of good information in all of these. We also have done a Business and Nonprofit of the Year, which was, the winners were the Child Daycare School and Be the Star You Are, which coincidentally, our last presenter was the Friends of Moraga Library, and they graciously had us, or let us host those events there. So we love them too. As mentioned before, Bunnies and Brews and Hacienda Nights, which we co-sponsor, the Pear Festival, which we have participated in the past and will continue doing, Community Service Day, Turkey Trot, and whatnot. Some new proposed events. One, we have the Moraga 50th birthday coming up, but we also have proposed doing an additional birthday party at the Cal Shakes Amphitheater. We have an art walk coming up in August on the 17th, a fun run we would like to do that would benefit schools, and a replacement idea for the community fair would be bingo or a poker night. We've also talked with East Bay Hospice on bringing back a tree lighting and collaborating with St. Mary's on welcoming back the Gales. How to get involved. Become a board member. We're always looking for more board members. Become just a member. The dues range from $75 to $1,800, depending on the size of your business, and most businesses are around $200. Remind chain stores and financial institutions to act locally. Share your events with us. We would love to celebrate you. Any anniversaries you have coming up, birthdays, grand openings, anything. We would love to support businesses more and more. And of course, follow us on social medias, share, like, help us in those ways. And finally, a strong town, a strong community, strong businesses, bring businesses and community together. That is all.
Okay, any questions for Hannah? Yes, Carrie.
So I think I saw, you said that you're replacing the community fair with a poker night or something else?
Yeah, poker night or a bingo night, more mixers, more events.
Is there a reason you were, I'm asking because with the kids, 3 kids, 6 and under, we love the community fair.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you were transitioning from that?
Mainly because just it's not within our capacity with how many board members and volunteers we have currently. We did it last year and we really pushed for it, but it was a struggle. So
Got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll bring it back in the future though.
Okay, any other questions? No. Comments? Renata?
Thank you, Hannah, for the presentation. I have had the privilege of being the liaison to the chamber this year for the council, and I just want to say I am impressed with this board's work ethic. I mean, it's a working board, and you all have rolled up your sleeves, and you are out in the community with the community and engaged in the community, and I agree. I mean, the economic vitality of this community depends on the economic vitality of our businesses. So thank you to all that you're doing. I mean, and I love that there are multiple events and a continuous stream of events going on all the time. The mixers, the chamber talks, Hacienda Nights, ribbon cuttings, just to name a few. I mean, to have the chamber and our businesses at the forefront of everything on a weekly basis, I think is really tremendous. And I also want to give a shout out, which I did at the board meeting, but I want to do it publicly, to the chamber for the Nonprofit of the Year event and the Business of the Year event. Well, it was the same event, but I thought not only was that well done, but your selection of 2 organizations that are devoted to the betterment of the youth of this community was fantastic and inspiring. And it was one of the most feel-good events I've been to all year long. So keep up the good work. Thanks for all that you all are doing, and know that we are your partners and here to support your efforts, and I know you support ours, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. I know that event just gives me chills. It was like so nice generationally, really, too. Okay.
Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Hannah, again, yeah, I commend you greatly. I know that the chamber and our businesses in town have had a tough time the last 3 or 4 years. I'm happy that the town was able to share at least a bit of our ARPA funding from the federal government with the businesses. I think we gave money to everybody who qualified.
Yeah.
and applied. I really commend focusing on St. Mary's College, because there, for many aspects, there's an opportunity. And finally, there are several projects in the planning stage which may bring more businesses to town and more residents, which also will help the businesses in the chamber. So hopefully the future will look busier than it currently is.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Hannah, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Out of all of the things that you do, which I'm excited to see so many things, what do you feel are the best ones? That
Which events we hold are the
yeah,
best?
yeah. And I agree with Renata. Excuse me. The nonprofit and everything.
That was
I think I had
outstanding
tears.
event this year. I mean, the speakers at that event that volunteered for each the business and nonprofit were just so fabulous.
Yeah. Other than that,
I really like the mixers personally because you just get so many people just networking, and it's brought in people even beyond Moraga, which is interesting, and businesses you wouldn't even think about, So it's cool making those connections. I also like the ribbon cuttings because you just get to, a lot of the times in Moraga, businesses just go so unseen. And I think with the ribbon cuttings, people are walking by and like, what's going on here? So it just brings attention to the new businesses. And in that sense too, you just get businesses who want to volunteer to host events and to shed light on what they do in other businesses, and it just becomes a lot more social. So
Good.
I hope that answers your question.
yeah, it does. It does. Thank you very much. Because I would not have thought of the ribbon cutting in that frame. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming to our Oh, Carrie has something.
So my wife recently joined the chamber. I think it's for one or both of our businesses based in Moraga. So she attested that the recent mixer she went to was really great. I also know that there is going to be a mega mixer at Cal Shakes. I think it's in another month with chambers as far away as Concord and others, and our chamber going to meet. So for any businesses that are interested, I think that particular mixer is going to be something special. I also want to just double down on the comments that Councilmember Wolicki made. We are doing a lot of very exciting things here as a council in terms of, I think prior to me moving here in 2017, I was told that my development, which was the Via Moraga, was the first one built here in decades. Since then, we've seen more, and now we are have many more in store, including many new businesses. So I really encourage the chamber to actively be involved, to come to the Planning Commission meetings, to come to the council meetings, advocate for our current businesses, think for the businesses in the future. I've also advocated to your executive director that as much as we can, there's a lot of major players that also play in town. Any of those that aren't actually chamber members now, we should really look to get them to be chamber members. I think that Republic is a member. I think that some of the other major companies, I don't know if Verizon is or Comcast. So for example, I know that I think the current president of the Pleasant Hill Chamber Board is the Comcast representative. So the more we can do to bring in more revenue for our chamber, the more vibrant our chamber can be, the better our community is going to be so that we have a true voice to really advocate for our businesses here.
Yeah,
So thank you for being
absolutely.
here tonight.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you.
All good? Thank you.
Okay. Those were two fabulous presentations. Thank you both so much, and your organizations as well. Moraga is very lucky. Next, special announcements. I see none. Public communication. This is a time reserved for those in the audience who wish to address the town council on items not on the agenda. The council cannot discuss details or vote on items not on the agenda. Your concerns may be referred to staff. Public input will also be taken, assuming I remember, during each agenda item. Next, adoption of meeting agenda.
So moved. Or do you want to?
May I,
Yes.
may I suggest that we move item 10A, the interview of the Art and Public Spaces candidate interview, to be next on the agenda,
Good.
and then consent calendar and the rest as is? That would
Yes.
be, if that's agreeable to my colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Okay, good. So we have, let's go ahead and do consent agenda, because we kind of started that. No, we didn't.
No,
Meeting agenda. Okay, good. So we've moved that. And let's go ahead and do that next. So that is 10A. And this is a subject Art and Public Spaces candidate interview. And I guess go ahead and come up, please. Okay. And I don't know if Mackenzie is here. Is Mackenzie here?
She's next door,
Okay.
or at least she was at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, so I think we all have, first of all, we'll introduce you. This is Rachel Smith, and she is a candidate for Art and Public Spaces, and that will mean that we have a full group, which is 7. We had somebody who had to quit. In fact, we all elected that person, and she has a 2-year-old and a full-time job that she travels, so she had to quit. And at that time, we moved the number back up to 7, and it had originally been 7. And so now we're at 6, and so we're so lucky to have Rachel come and interview for that 7th position. So are there any questions? Yes, Carrie.
So I'm going to go to this trusty list of questions, which I think are fantastic, the staff provided. I'm going to ask one that stood out to me, which is what collaboration...
Microphone.
Yeah, why don't we move it
wasn't on.
closer to you, or move you closer? There we go. Thank you.
All right. What collaborations or partnerships could further public art in the Moraga community?
Wow. So I think, I mean, I have some ideas. Obviously, if I were to join the committee, I would want the direction of Teresa, Julie, Holly, and other committee members to guide me, because this is a new position for me. But I do have some ideas regarding funding that would include grants, including local businesses, the chance to invest or contribute financing to some of the art projects in return for some branding opportunities for their businesses. Did I say grants? Yes. GoFundMe accounts. I mean, there's all kinds of things I think that all different areas we could explore in terms of raising funding for the artwork in the community.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Rachel, thank you for coming. Thank you for submitting your application. So, in your words, why is public art important?
Well, first of all, I personally am very passionate about art. I love art. And so it's something I'm very excited about. I think that the artwork installments in Moraga demonstrate how much we care about the community and that we're actually nurturing our city with artwork. It enhances the community, and it beautifies the community for sure. Makes it a more attractive place to live, makes it more attractive to people coming here that would then frequent our businesses and spend money in the community. So yeah, and I think involving the community in the various projects as well, bringing it into the schools. There are, I'm sure, ways that we could collaborate with the schools and kids could get involved in it, which from an educational perspective, I think is very helpful as well.
Thank you.
Steve.
Really, Rachel, I just, no real questions, just, however, your resume is very deep, Have you been on any volunteer committees at all analogous to this? Because it takes a little bit it can be different.
Yes, so I have been very involved in several organizations in Moraga. From a volunteer standpoint, very much involved in the Moraga School District when my son was growing up. I joined Parents for a Safer Environment when my son, who's now 25, was in kindergarten, and was involved in that organization and getting a new nutrition policy within the Moraga School District, helping to eliminate the pesticides in the public spaces, things like that. I volunteered at the Moraga Garden, Deva's Garden over by the fire station. Worked there for about 3 years. And I'm also a volunteer at the Monarch Garden right now, working with Julie Stagg on that.
Great.
My professional experience is in sales. That's all I've done my entire life. So I think that skill set hopefully helps the committee in helping to raise funds and market the art program. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Carrie?
Comments?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I think when prior of what will likely be your peers have come to before us, I think I've compared, art in a community really helps to create community. If you think about when you buy a house, when we first bought our first house here in Moraga down the street, we wanted to get in really quick. We didn't have any kids yet. We were on blow-up mattresses. There was nothing on the walls. It was just a building. It wasn't really a home yet. It didn't feel like a home until we started decorating things, putting things on the wall that represented who we were and who we are. That could be pictures. It could be a bunch of different things. I look at Moraga as a place that is basically a home that was built and never decorated. The decorations have largely been the beauty of the scenery around here, which is gorgeous. But given the tremendous opportunity we currently have, which I choose to look at it as an opportunity to revitalize our two centers here in town, which is going to mean we're going to have more housing here. I would imagine and I would hope that there's going to be a lot more opportunity for this committee to provide a lot more thought on how we decorate this house that we all live in so that we really have that community. So I'm really glad to hear that the community the committee is back to its full membership load, because we're going to need you. So thank you for raising your hand, because the work you're going to be doing is going to be the work that is going to make all of us not only be happy that we're here because of the schools, happy we're here because of the scenery, but just happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that Rachel is going to be part of is we are working Art in Public Spaces, now that it's got more people and more people that are active. We are working with Cal Shakes, we're working with La Miranda Arts Council, we're working with a group that are doing poetry in Lafayette. We've got all of these different feelers out, and we're rewriting the charter. We're doing all kinds of things that are making it so that we can go full blast forward. And to give you an example of the committee, there was this one sculptor that we wanted his sculpture at the entrance on Moraga Road, and he wanted to be paid for it, and we said, we have no funds. And so he said, well, okay, I'm going to try Orinda. So he felt so bad by saying that he decided, he contacted Holly and said, I feel so terrible. You guys are so wonderful. I just love you all. And so I'm going to make a sculpture that will be similar to that one, so that you can have it, and it can be on loan. So that's the kind of relationships that we're creating this is the Berkeley community, and all around. So I feel like we're the locomotive that can, and we're just getting steamed up. And Rachel is going to be a huge help to us to move that engine up that hill so that everybody will feel that this is a community that is open and creative and has places where people feel like it's home. So and thank you, Rachel, so much for coming forward, because we're going to need you.
Thank you. I'm so incredibly passionate about this and really looking forward to working with the committee. So thank you.
So, Renata,
Just one quick comment, then I'm ready to make a motion.
yes, please.
Oh, Steve would like to make a comment.
I'll shorten it. I just wanted to note, you're going to be joining the second happiest, funnest committee in Moraga.
That's good to know.
It is.
The best one, the happiest one, the funnest one is the Youth Involvement Committee.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Excited about
but you're the second, and that's good, because there are other committees that are a little bit drier, I guess, I'd say. So thank you so much for raising your hand.
Thank you.
Renata.
Yeah, Rachel, thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to serve this community, because based on your resume and how articulate you are and how energetic and passionate you are, you could do anything. So we really appreciate that you have chosen to devote some time and your considerable energy to this. And with that, I would like,
I think I have to ask for public comment.
oh, ask for public comment.
Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Go ahead, Renata.
I move that we appoint Rachel Smith to a 3-year term on the Art and Public Spaces Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Consent agenda. Would anybody like to move or pull from this consent agenda? Steve?
Yes. Oh, okay. I'd like to pull 7.6.
That's it? Anybody else? Yes.
I was just going to,
It's 7.6, Bessie, is what I'd like to.
Bessie,
pull.
okay.
I was going to suggest we pull both 7.3 and 7.4 so we can read them.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, let's do 7.6. Oh,
Would you like a motion on the other ones?
yes, please.
Move approval of 7.1, 7.2, 7.5, 7.7, and 7.8.
It's been
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, let's go to Bessie first. 7.6.
This is very quick. My only question, and I apologize for not getting this answered ahead of time. The location of Bessie seems to be, at the library, but seems to be close to another sculpture there.
You're probably, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Are you referring to the image that's there? That sculpture has actually been removed. So that is an old Google Street View image.
Where'd that sculpture go?
That was Grasp, right? That
Grasp,
that
yes.
has been removed.
Yes.
The loan was over.
Okay, but we have the sculpture of the two children reading a book.
That's
I
not-
think-
I
that's
don't
not
think
close.
that's.
I think that the photo is incorrect because Grasp was along the sidewalk on the side. In fact, I showed it to you where Grasp was going to be. It's closer to Radar Man. So when it's time to put it there, that's where Grasp was. It was across the sidewalk from Radar Man and a little bit over. And there is a space where there's not bushes that it can be. So I will be glad to point that out. And hopefully that won't stop this.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
My apologies on not understanding the location. If I can show you. That was Grasp, right?
But it's a really,
This is over.
so from where you're looking, it's hard to tell what's there. If you were on the sidewalk behind, then you could tell.
Yeah. Just sort of stating the obvious, let's make sure that we don't have.
Oh, correct.
That's,
It-
yeah.
They won't be too
They-
close.
you know,
No. The correct location will be just
Do
perfect.
you want a motion now, or are we going to do all three?
Can I say one thing before
Yes.
a motion? Madam Mayor, thank you. I'm glad you pulled it, Steve, because I also want to thank Bobby Preston
Sure.
for once again contributing meaningfully and generously to the betterment of this community. And this is just the latest in a long line of things that she and her late husband have done for us. So,
Yeah.
Bobby, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
And one other thing, of course, Art in Public Spaces has a plan for Bessie. What the current idea is to have the children who come to the library create a book about Bessie. And since there's now cows up on Painted Rock, you know, it's a really nice, the timing is perfect, and the fit for the Moraga Library is perfect since we all have cows, you know, that we see regularly. So yes, I agree. Thank you, Bobby. Is there any public comment about this? Seeing none, if somebody would like to make a motion.
Move that we approve consent agenda item 7.6, accepting a public art sculpture to be placed on town-owned property.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you,
you, Mayor.
Mackenzie. All right, we have two proclamations, and let's do proclamation recognizing June 24th as Pride Month first. And Renata, would you like to start it?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a proclamation recognizing June 2024 as Pride Month. Whereas June is a time to celebrate and recognize our dynamic and diverse Moraga community and to promote a healthy, safe, and supportive environment for all.
Whereas the town of Moraga has a diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning LGBTQ+ community and is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and respect for all people in this community and to providing our LGBTQ+ youth with a safe environment in which to grow and thrive.
Whereas many of the current and past residents, students, town employees, and business owners and their employees within the town of Moraga have contributed to the enrichment of the town and are part of the LGBTQ+ community and their supporters.
Whereas now more than ever, it is important for communities like the town of Moraga to show both support for our residents and stand in opposition to intolerant treatment.
Whereas states, municipalities, businesses, educational, religious institutions across the United States recognize and celebrate June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month.
Whereas June has become a symbolic month during which LGBTQ+ people, their employers, church communities, families, friends, and supporters come together in various celebrations of pride and unity.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Teresa Onoda, Mayor of the Town of Moraga, along with my fellow council members and staff, do hereby declare the month of June 2024 as Pride Month. Thank you, everybody. Okay, is there any comments? Or
Do you want them now, or do you want them after the second one?
I think this one. I think this would be good, if anybody has any comments.
I do. I feel the need to speak. I am just grateful and proud that this council has now done, I believe this is our 6th year of issuing this proclamation, and because words do matter. And supportive words do matter, and especially against the backdrop of intolerance, bigotry, and hatred nationally, and even in nearby communities. It is very important for us to remember and to remind all of us here in Moraga that we are a safe place that is welcoming to everyone, that wants everyone to live with dignity, respect, and in their own way. And last year, I read a letter to the community from my transgender son, which I would like to read again because I have been personally dismayed at the overall assault on both physical and verbal on transgender people, and in particular transgender youth. So I would like to read this again because it was a very powerful statement from someone who experiences that sort of bigotry and intolerance on a daily basis, and he so beautifully wrote it down last year. And if it's all right with you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to read it again. Letter to the Moraga community from Jamie. Many of you support transgender rights, and I want to give you the opportunity to understand the oppression and dehumanization that I have learned to expect by telling you about one instance of transphobia I experienced when I was hospitalized for anemia last year. I'll be using the present tense in describing the event because I want you to imagine experiencing it with me, as me. My legal name is Jenna. I go by Jamie. I tell the nurse taking my vitals. I say nothing more. Nursing is a tiring and thankless job, and I wish I could be warmer, but I'm so tired. Compared to the patients who are yelling at the nurses and belittling them for tiny mistakes, I'm easy. A few minutes later, I hear this nurse and her coworkers complaining just outside the curtain around my bed. They have every reason to complain, but why are they complaining about me? One nurse asks, so she says she's not a girl. That prompts a 30 to 45-minute discussion about how I must think I deserve special treatment, about how transgender people are overly sensitive, and about the militancy of the transgender movement. I wish I had the physical strength to join the conversation. I want to ask them why they think I'm overly sensitive. I want to say that I never demanded special treatment from them, quite the opposite. I didn't ask them to call me by my name. I simply told them what it was. I want them to question why they think the trans movement is unreasonably militant when trans people are statistically more likely to be poor, uneducated, and suicidal. We do not have enough power to be oppressive to anyone. The people who have yelled at me on the street, violated my privacy, and denied me the agency of my own body will never face consequences for their transgressions or even their crimes. I struggle to understand why I can't be called by my name. When people tell me their name, I call them by that name because I want to respect all of who they are. Small acts of respect add up, allowing people to be themselves without fear of scorn or shame. Every time I've been able to create a space for someone to feel unconditionally accepted, they show me the full depth of their intelligence and reveal every dimension of their beauty. Because we still live in a world where ladies and gentlemen means people, we fail to humanize transgender and intersex people. Why not change this? Why suppress the full spectrum of humanity? Why love in black and white when instead we could love in every color? When I tell you my name, when your child tells you their name, when a neighbor tells you their name, we invite you to join us in this changed world. We cannot make you come with us, but I don't understand why you would refuse. You have so much to gain and nothing to lose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renata. Is there any public comment? Seeing none.
We haven't read it yet.
Pardon me?
Have we read? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts, and please thank Jamie.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, Scott.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, I wasn't planning on saying anything, but I'd like to just add one comment. So as your town manager, it's appreciated that you're conveying support for Pride Month to the community as a whole, but by your doing this, you also send a positive message to the employees of the organization. And we were talking about components of this at our weekly executive team meeting. And I'd like to just point out that we, as a society or as a town or as an organization, when we celebrate diversity,
it's not just about our physical differences, our gender or preferences that are different. But what I explained to the department heads is we also celebrate and show support for diversity of thought and diversity of background and perspective. So as the professionals that implement your direction and provide services to the community, we're learning to be more cognizant of and sensitive to our colleagues and our employees who may have a different perspective. So when we celebrate or recognize Pride Month and related differences, we learn how to be sensitive to our differences of thought. So I just wanted to point that out and say thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Questions? I guess it's comments. Okay.
Well, just
Go ahead.
as a student of humans, this is just all so daunting, is I guess what I want to say. On a micro level, we handle this pretty well. Mm-hmm. On a macro level, it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
And when I say we handle this well on a micro level, that's really situational or location dependent. And anyway, so.
Okay, so let's go on to the next proclamation recognizing the 19th of June as Juneteenth in the town of Moraga. Steve, would you like to start?
Sure. A proclamation recognizing the 19th of June as Juneteenth in the town of Moraga. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation setting in motion the end of slavery in the United States.
Whereas news of the Emancipation Proclamation reached Texas on June 19th, 1865, when it was announced that the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free.
Whereas over time, states, cities, and most recently the United States government have recognized the 19th of June as Juneteenth and publicly commemorated the end of slavery in this country.
Whereas Juneteenth stands for the foundational principles of freedom, dignity, opportunity, and equality for all people.
Whereas the town of Moraga is committed to those principles, and
whereas Juneteenth reminds us of the importance to our community, to our democracy, and of treating everyone with equal measures of respect.
Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Teresa Onoda, Mayor of the town of Moraga, on behalf of my fellow citizens, council members, and staff, do hereby proclaim on the 19th of June as Juneteenth in the town of Moraga, and urge all members of our community to join in recognizing this important day and the principles that it represents. Thank you. Is there any public comment on this? Okay, seeing none. Any comments? Yes, Renata.
I just want to, I'm struck by the line in this proclamation that I think is important and timely, especially as we're on the eve of our 4th of July celebration. And that is that this Juneteenth stands for the foundational principles of freedom, dignity, opportunity, and equality of all people. That is the foundation of our democracy. It is the foundation of our system of government. And it is the foundation of being the greatest nation in the world.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
And Mayor, as these two proclamations were on the consent calendar for authorization by motion, I would recommend a motion to authorize both those resolutions.
I move that we approve consent agenda items 7.3 and 7.4 as proposed.
Okay, it's moved
A second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Okay. Next is 10B.
Councilmember comments?
I'm sorry, what?
Or reports?
Councilmember reports?
Oh, reports, yes, thank you. And I'm trying, it's just so everybody knows, I'm trying to get this kind of done, wrapped up by 8 o'clock, because some of the council members have things to do. although this is extremely important.
You're not doing anything right.
So I'm crossing things off. So I'm sorry, let's go to reports. Steve,
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to shorten this, I guess that's the message.
and that's the plan.
So I'm going to talk about one item, and that was the fire safety community meeting that I attended on May 30th. And a lot of this was reported out by the town manager, Scott Mitnick, excuse me. It was an excellent meeting, as Scott reported. Over 100 attended, and we had some excellent speakers. Most of the time was spent on questions, and it covered a very wide range of topics, including can we use fire safety to rewrite the housing element, or something to that, or stop a particular project. One thing I want to talk about briefly is quite a bit of the time was spent on Zone 0. This is around each structure, the 5 feet out from the structure itself. And, we have MOFD requirements for Zone 0, 1, and 2. And those requirements are going to stay the same for 1 and 2, but Zone 0 is up in the air. And the particular requirement concerns combustible materials. We're headed, but we're not there yet, towards everything within 5 feet of the structure has to be non-combustible. And a lot of discussion on that. It's not currently required. There are a number of outstanding factors, including CAL FIRE has not yet issued their fire maps, which were for hazard, very, very high hazard, and moderately high hazard. And they're well over 10 years overdue. It's a political thing, so I'm told. And also, what of the fire designations, hazard designations, will be subject to Zone 0? There's one argument that says it should all be Zone 0 because there are far more structures in the moderately, the high hazard and the moderate hazard zones, as opposed to the very high hazard, which are more in the wildland areas. That needs to be settled. It may happen in about a year, but a message I want to report out is a recommendation is, if people are planning to do fences or other activities around their house, they might really seriously think about being proactive and getting ahead of it, because at some point it may be the expectation requirement that we create a 5-foot zone around each structure. Did I cover that correctly, Scott?
I think that's the new fire code, isn't it?
The 5-foot isn't yet in the code. There are requirements in Zone 0, 2 feet up, or 2 feet out, 1 foot up, for example, non-combustible.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, also the fire chief for Moraga and Orinda is looking at putting together a joint meeting of the 5 council members from Moraga and Orinda and the board from the fire district. So that's in the works, with the main topic being Zone 0.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you both.
And one last real quick thing.
Yes.
That decision on Zone 0, it isn't going to be just an MOFD thing, because it relates to risk tolerance, risk management. So whoever is sitting on the council at that point in time is going to have to deal with that issue as part of the decision making. So I've been told.
Thank you. Okay, Carrie.
Yeah, so I believe it was in between our last meetings, but Councilmember Sauce and I had the opportunity to participate in the Recycle Smart Board of Directors meeting a week or so ago. And one of the fun parts of the meeting, and I wish I could remember the student's name, maybe my colleague will remember that, but a Camp Alindo student was the recipient of a grant a Lafayette resident, but Camp Alindo student, so won't hold it against her. So it was very fun to be there for that. Also, tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn, at 7:30, I will be participating in the Recycle Smart Franchise Vendor Selection Ad Hoc Committee. This is a committee that has representatives from each of the constituent parts of Recycle Smart, which include Danville, the county, Walnut Creek, and all 3 La Miranda communities. We are going to be doing the first vetting of some of the responses to proposals for post collection. So big deal. As we've said at prior meetings, the Recycle Smart board decided to put all aspects of our garbage collection out to bid. A huge decision, not always done. And so we are now in the process of receiving the proposals and making recommendations. So more to come on this as we move this down the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Renata?
I wasn't going to say anything, but I wanted to just ride on Carrie's coattails. So I just want the folks in Moraga to know that the process that has been set up by Recycle Smart to enter into the next wave of franchise agreements for collection and post-collection services is incredibly rigorous, and it's designed specifically to give our ratepayers the best possible rates and the best possible service that we can achieve. And Carrie is doing a heavy lift by serving on the committee that is doing selection. That committee is separate and distinct from the committee that designed the process for obtaining bids, designed the RFP, well, and is still designing, and I'm on that one, because we wanted to make sure that the people who were designing the process were different from the people who were actually selecting the ultimate vendors, because we thought that would be most fair, equitable, and objective. That's my report.
Okay, great. And I have nothing to report. So is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll move on. And Town Manager, you want to do yours at the end or now?
Both.
Okay.
So at the end, I'll just talk about upcoming items, agenda items, and so on. But 2 items worth pointing out. Both are in the way cool category. The first one on your consent calendar, item 7.7, that was a list of street construction projects for the next year. And your Public Works Director has provided you copies of handouts about the work that's coming up. So for those residents that are still watching and you're wondering, is your street going to have work done, go to the town's website and they'll have information. There's over a dozen streets that will be worked on this summer. And the work is really, it's starting this week. So it's really exciting. It's the taxpayers measure K sales tax dollars at work. There will be some folks who are inconvenienced. You and staff, we're going to get calls where people are upset that the road's blocked or whatnot. We understand that. That's a growing pain because of the work that's being done. So it's very exciting that we're spending millions of dollars fixing the worst streets in residential neighborhoods.
Follow-up question on that?
Yeah.
So I was picking my kids up from Moraga summer camp over at the Hacienda, and I noted that there was a whole lot of sidewalk work. I see that Donald Drive is on the map here. Is that sidewalk work related to the street repair?
Yes, Sean Knapp, your Public Works Director, Town Engineer. Donald is on the repair list, and as part of that, we're required to upgrade any pedestrian facilities, ADA facilities. So at the corner of Donald and Moraga Road, there is a sidewalk gap closure and some curb ramp improvements that we're doing. You know, it's a tight little corner, and there's a lot of little engineering that's being figured out, so we can have the contractor work on that, and we're working with the property owner also at that corner there. So, and that's being done in-house, utilizing our staff to save on costs.
I commend staff for sorting out how to get that done. That is, I believe, the only sidewalk gap on that stretch of Moraga Road, and it is my kids' route to school, and I know a lot of other kids' routes, so thank you. And sorry to interrupt your report.
Oh, it's in the way cool category. The other thing, you remember, You authorize us to convert from an annual budget format to a biennial budget format. Well, we just found out this week, I think it was today, we did get the GFOA National Budget Award for this document. It's a big deal to those of us internally, but it helped contribute to our AAA bond rating and that type of thing. So I do want to acknowledge and thank the council for being supportive of that. And also Annie, too, the previous Administrative Services Director. I remember, if not my first day on the job, definitely my first week, she came up to me and said, how do you feel about converting from an annual budget to a biennial budget? And I was like, oh, absolutely. I've done that before. So it was an involved process internally to make the switch, but we did it, and it's really saved the organization a lot of grief and a lot of heartache, and it forced us to be more multi-year focused. And I know you miss working on the budget and having budget hearings every single year, but I just wanted to point that out and also thank our new Administrative Services Director, Katie Bruner, for her work. And two people in particular, Sylvia Wells, our senior accountant. She's the one who does the really hard laboring work to get this document together, as well as Donna Sullivan, our HR technician, HR person who played a big role in that, and all the department heads as well. So those are what I want to point out. At the end of the meeting, I'll talk about upcoming items. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, public hearing, 10, ordinance resolution and request for action. We've already done 10A, so now we're up to 10B. Sean.
Hello again, Sean Knapp, your Public Works Director, Town Engineer. Annually, the staff brings to the council for consideration a request to approve various reports and potential levy of a street lighting district fee. It's a property tax fee. We have to do this through a public hearing process per the state code. Right now, we're on halfway through the process. We called the first meeting. We are introducing the resolution with the intent to levy a $58 parcel tax for the property owners within the district, and have you approve the engineer's report on the lighting district. So, and if you do so and you do approve that, then we will conduct a public hearing. Approximately 2 meetings from now, we'll notice the public with a notice in widely published advertisement, and if I can back up one moment to kind of tell you a little bit of history and the physical health of our lighting district. So, as you've read through the engineer's report, we've been assessing a $58 per year since the 2010 period, and we have not raised that. There is a new table that we've added in the back of the report as an appendix showing that we could be potentially charging $87.92, and we could enact that at any time based on the formula that was approved through the assessments originally. So if we ever do come to the point where we need additional funds, we have the ability to raise that through a public hearing process, but we have that, we reserve that right to do so. Our funds balance is quite robust. We have approximately $511,000, being that funds do not enter the balance account at the first of the fiscal year. It comes at different places, and with the assessments, we do have to keep a reserve to pay out as we move along through the process. But we have a substantial, not substantial, but we have a robust budget that we can handle throughout the year. And we did take on, earlier in the year, we did take on a new lighting district engineer, Finesso and Associates. They're responsible for the improvements, working through the report and the engineer's report, and also the staff report to make it a little more condensed and easier to read. So we appreciate those efforts. With that, if I'm here for any questions, and if the town council sees fit to make any move.
Okay, any questions? Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. This should be really quick. And maybe this is something I should know by now, but if I look at the map on page 9 of the report, this shows all of Moraga, and there's the shaded zone, which are the 1979 parcels, and then there are the town of Moraga parcels. This funding tonight is correct or not, the 1979 parcels only, or is it both areas?
Well, the lighting district was formed in 1979, and we've added new parcels as new developments have come into the town. And so everything that is in the shaded blue sections of the map is covered within the lighting district.
And outside the shaded areas?
Outside of the shaded areas are either areas that haven't been developed yet, like Palos Colorados is shown on the map and it hasn't been developed. It's a future development, and so it's just shown as blank parcels,
Right.
or they haven't been added into the district.
And how is the lighting for those handled?
Well, they generally do not have, if you live on a street that does not have that, you generally do not have street lights, or maybe you're in a private street.
Okay. Thank you.
Gary?
So that actually sparked a question. I think that's somewhat related to the question I was going to ask. So I would imagine the only way to amend the district, it would be through a ballot measure. Is that correct?
In what way do you're asking? If you're asking if you have a street and you'd like street lights and be added to the streetlight district, it would be a majority vote of those property owners within that area being requested to add street lighting and be added to it.
Got it. So the follow-up question that I would have is, since we already have asked staff to explore expanding the lighting district to landscaping and lighting district like many other communities have, whether or not expansion of the lighting district to include parcels that have been added since 1979 might also be something we can consider.
The council has asked staff to research this, and we are doing that, and we'll be able to bring back additional information at a future meeting for you to discuss.
Thank you.
Renata?
Sean, you mentioned that, and I recall that we have a new engineer doing the report. Are you satisfied with their work, the new folks?
Yeah, they're very precise. They've gone through and as part of the transition, gone through and looked at all the parcels to make sure we have the right parcels, and if anything's missing, they've made sure that they've been added back into the levy for the parcel tax. So they're doing a very good job.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question. And I would imagine other people are in the same situation that I am. I think I'm on a private street. And so we have an outdated street light. And what happens how does that work?
When you say outdated or it's not functioning?
No, it's actually functioning. One of them wasn't functioning, and I called the number on the light, and that one is now functioning. Another one is not quite functioning, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. But the question is, other lights are updated and are LED lights, I assume. So what happens with the private streets with the outdated lights?
That would be typically handled through your HOA. You would get together as a group. We do handle for some private HOAs, which includes the Moraga Country Club. We do have a contract to maintain their lights, and in many situations, we've upgraded some of the lights as we've gone to more energy efficient to reduce the costs of the maintenance of the lights and also the energy usage. So it would be a similar thing. If you were in your HOA, you would contact your HOA to see if they could, as a group, contact PG&E and try to work with them.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. I think probably there are others in that same situation. Okay, any public comment? Seeing none. Any comments? We did questions. Any comments?
Just real quick, that I think I advocate for, as much as possible, having a unified town-wide lighting district, if we can.
Okay. So would somebody like to move? I believe there's two things to move in this.
I think, may I, Madam Mayor?
Yes, please do.
I move that we adopt a resolution approving the fiscal year 24-25 street lighting assessment district number 1979-1 engineers report, that we adopt a resolution declaring the town's intention to levy and collect assessments for fiscal year 24-25, and that we set a public hearing date for July 10, 2024, to receive public input on assessment district number 1979-1 and proposed assessment, which is not proposed to increase from the previous year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next, we're doing good time-wise. Thank you, everybody. Next is discussion items. Seeing none, council requests for future agenda items. Are there any? Nope. Communications, I see none. Town manager follow-up and announcements.
Okay, Madam Mayor, members of the council, I don't have any other follow-up. But as far as announcements, the next meeting will be on June 26th, the last meeting of the fiscal year. We'll have a few items, but the one worth pointing out is we'll have an update to the upcoming budget year, 24-25. I mentioned we're in a biennial budget, right, with the current year ending, so the next one's coming up, and we have some minor adjustments for your consideration and hopefully approval. We'll still retain a balanced budget and the 50% reserve. So that's good news on that. And then on July 10th, we will have the joint Council Planning Commission study session, part of the General Plan Update Series, and this topic will be on community development and sustainability. So that'll be an interesting one. We will make sure we have a quorum with the Planning Commission. All right, as far as some other items to point out, I have a few. And I will go to the list that was sent to me this weekend, or not this weekend, but coming up on, that's down the road there, on June 30th from 8 to 11 a.m. over at CC's Cafe. It'll be the Coffee with a Cup event. That's on the schedule.
Was a cup or a cup?
What'd I say, a cup? Coffee
Well,
with
that's,
a
either's
cup.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah, you could bring a cup. I need more caffeine to say this correctly. And by the way, the police department is asking that our residents go to our website and learn more about the Zone Haven Nixle systems and get their name on there so that our residents can be alerted when there are events out there, public safety messages.
And when is that, the coffee with the cup and the cop?
June 30th,
June 30th.
down the road, June 30th.
Okay.
Sorry, I should be talking about that on June 26th. Some other things that are happening right now, the summer camps have begun. It's really, really nice, very robust group of high school students and college students that are participating in that. The July 4th preparation stuff that's in the works. We're going to have a really, really nice parade and, really nice fireworks and all that stuff that's coming along with it. And the fall activity guide, it's in production. That'll come out eventually. And there's a bunch of other cool stuff with Parks and Rec. There's a long list. I don't want to bore you with it, but the summer concert series starts tomorrow at Commons. So the weather's really nice. It'll be great to see council members and other members of the public there. That's in the Hacienda Nights. That will start next week on June 18th. That's your town manager update. Thank you.
And how much is to buy a bulb? Or a rocket?
Well, we're encouraging donations in the $60 range, if not greater.
Okay.
Yeah, that information has been sent out to the community, and that's also on the website. So again, for those who want to help offset the cost of the 4th of July fireworks, because it is not cheap, it costs a lot of money well spent, but we welcome contributions.
If I can just say thank God for the summer camp programs. Please thank Park and Rec staff. My kids are having a great time, and it's nice to have a break.
Good. Sign up for as many classes as possible. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, council.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Cheers.